Alhusus bu caminin banisi ve bugüne kadar içerisinden gelmiş geçmiş imam müezzin kaynlarının ve kahve ehli ivan ervahi için sahibi Seyyid Şeyh Abdülkerim el-Kıbrıs Rabbani Hazretleri için Allah rızası için El Fatiha. Euzubillahimineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. İnnallâhe ve melâiketehu yusallûne alen-nebi. Ya eyyühellezîne âmenû sallu aleyhi ve sellimû teslîmâ. Allahümme salli ala seyyidina Muhammed ve ala ali seyyidina Muhammed. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah. Eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Hayya ale's-salam. Hayya ale's-salam. Hayya alel-felah. Hayya alel-felah. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. La ilahe illallah.
Elhamdülillah, elhamdülillah. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil alemin. Ve salatu ve selamu ala Resulina Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve sahbihi ecmain. Nahmedullah Teala ve nestağfiru eşhedü en la ilahe illallah vahdehu la şerike lah. Ve eşhedü enne seyyidina Muhammedin abduhu ve habibuhu ve resuluh. Sallallahu aleyhi ve ala alihi ve ezvacihi. Ve sebit tabi hulefe raşidin mahadin min ba'di. وزن متى على تحقيق خصوصا من علامات خلفاء الرسول على تحقيق أمراء المؤمنين حضرة أبو بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي وعلى بقية الصحابة التابعين رضوان الله تعالى عليهم أجمعين. يا أيها المؤمنون الحاذرون اتقوا الله تعالى واتقوا إيمان الذين والذين هم محسنون. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. All praises are due to Allah, Lord of the universes. All praises are due to Allah, who is the first, the last, the manifest, the hidden, the one who has might and power over all things. And may all peace and blessings be upon the Sultan of creation, the Imam of the messengers, the seal of the prophethood, the master of the first and the last, the grandfather of Hassan and Hussein, Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, and upon his noble family and blessed companions, especially upon the four Khulafai Rashidin, Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, Hazrat Umar al-Faruq, Hazrat Osman al-Ghani, and Hazrat Ali al-Murtaza, and all those who follow them until the last day. O believers, welcome to you on this holy day of Jummah. Welcome to you on the first Jummah of this month, on the 7th day of Jamadilakhir. Welcome, as we are just 3 more Jummahs away from the door of Shahrullah, the month of Rajab, the month of Allah. Welcome to you on a day that is made holy in the heavens and the earth. And on this day we should run to send more salawats upon the Habibullah alayhi salatu wasalam, who is saying in his Hadith Sharif, when Thursday arrives, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends the angels who possess tablets of silver and pens of gold. They record the names of those ones who send salawats to me on the nights of Thursday and Friday. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Ayyuhal mu'minun, O believers, know your history. Know the history of Islam. Know the history of those who came before you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the Holy Quran in Surah Al-A'raf, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So narrate the history to them so that maybe they will think. O believers, in this 21st century, the biggest mission of the enemies of Islam, inside and outside of Islam, is to make the Muslims to completely forget their history. Because when we forget our history, we cannot tell the difference between haq and batil. And the enemies of Islam have cut the Muslims off from their past, from their history, and are telling them that batil is haq and haq is batil. And so 21st century Muslims have fallen into that trap. And they are thinking that the batil falsehood that they are sinking in, it is haq. Black has become white and the white has become black. So we have entered into the time that the Holy Prophet ﷺ warned us about when he said, "Shall I not tell you about the Dajjal, something that no prophet ever told his nation?" The Dajjal is one-eyed and will bring with him what will resemble hell and paradise. And what he will call paradise will be actually hell. So I warned you against him, as Nuh alayhi salam warned his nation against him. O believers, we have to be careful in this Akhir Zaman, in this age of Dajjal. Because unless we connect to our history, we'll become tricked and trapped by this evil system. And one of the biggest tricks and traps that they are putting is to invent a new kind of Islam and make Muslims to believe that they are following the way of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and his Sahabe Kiram. But the Holy Prophet ﷺ warned us of this 1400 years ago when he said to his Sahabe Kiram, if the Muslims of the Akhir Zaman were to see you, they would call you crazy. And if you were to see them, you would call them unbelievers. O believers, how can we protect our faith in this Akhir Zaman? How can we make sure that we are following the way of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and his Sahabe Kiram? It is by taking the handhold of those who are the inheritors of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. As the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he is the firmest handhold. He is the udwati wuthqa. And by sitting in the company of those who are connected to the real history of Islam, it is holding on to the urwatul wuthqa, the firmest handhold that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning in the Holy Quran, saying, whoever disbelieves in shaitan and believes in Allah, he indeed has laid hold on the firmest handhold, which shall not break off. And Allah is hearing and knowing. And one of our grand sheikhs, the grandson of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, Hazrat Imam Ja'far as-Saddiq, is saying, we are the firmest handhold, referring to the sheikhs. All believers, have we placed our hand into the firmest handhold? Have we connected with one of the inheritors of the Holy Prophet ﷺ? And are we learning the real history of Islam from the ones who are connected to that history? We must be careful, because unless we are connected to those ones, we may get lost in this Dajjalic system that is here. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the Holy Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, he whom Allah guides is the rightly guided, but he whom he leaves astray, never will you find for him a waliyan murshida. A waliyan murshida, a protecting guide. O believers, murids, understand who is your wali, who your murshid is, and understand history, understand the chain through which you are connected to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Bayat, the taking hold of the firmest handhold, is not just to say some words. That is not a bayat. It is not just to wear the turban and the haidariya. It is not putting the tasbih in your hand. It is not just completing the awrad. Because if we are connected to this way, if we are connected to this OSMANLI, Naksibendi, Hakkani way, then we must understand that this way is based on hizmat and hard work. As Hazrat Sa'ad Shirazi is saying, your religion is not your tasbih or on your sajada. Your religion is found only in hizmat. And if we are in this way, if we are in this tariqat, then we must understand that we are connected to those ones who did the most service, who did the most hizmat, who gave up their blood and their breath for the way of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. We are connected to Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu an, who saved Islam after the passing of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, when the majority of the Arabian tribes, they abandoned Islam. Just as the majority of the Arab tribes abandoned the last Khalifa in the Akhir Zaman. They did in the first Jahiliyyah. We are connected to Hazrat Abu Bakr, the one that the Lion of Allah, Hazrat Ali, is describing, saying, Abu Bakr is the bravest of men. If we are in this way, we are connected to Mujaddid al-Thani, Imam Ahmad Farooqi al-Sirhindi Rabbani, Qaddasallahu Sir, our 25th Grand Sheikh, who stood up to tyranny and batil, and no matter what. Imam Rabbani, who even when he was imprisoned by the authorities, he was disappearing from that prison, and he was leading Juma namaz all over Hind. If we are in this way, we are connected to Hazrat Abdullah Faiz Dagestani, who was working non-stop for this ummah. Our Grand Shaykh Abdullah Dagestani, who was in Chanakkala, and when he was praying, duha prayer, when a huge mortar shell hit to the area he was praying, and when the dust cleared, they found Grand Shaykh Abdullah still on his prayer rug, untouched. If we are in this way, we are in the way of Sultan al-Awliya, Shaykh Maulana Muhammad Nazim Adil al-Haqqani, who gave up his whole life for the sake of this ummah, who went to every minaret of Cyprus to call the Azan al-Muhammadi when it was outlawed, and was given a life sentence in prison. Sultan al-Awliya, whose every breath was spent preparing the world for Mahdi alayhi salam and warning the children of Adam against Dajjal. And understand that if we are in this way, if we are in the way of the OSMANLI Dergah, then we are the most fortunate ones who are connected to Sahib al-Saif, Shaykh Abdul Karim Kibrisiya Rabbani. O Murids, do not forget your Shaykh. Don't forget the hebat and the majesty of our Shaykh. We are just in the 1,000-day urs of our Shaykh, and we are the luckiest ones to be connected to him. Who is our Shaykh? He is that one who, at the age of 16, became a Ghazi, fighting to defend Islam in his homeland, who was watching bullets and rockets fly right by his head, but continued for the sake of Islam. We are connected to that one who, at only 18 years of age, came to America as the Khalifa of Sultan al-Awliya, and he went to every corner, from the poorest and most dangerous to the richest and most powerful areas, to call people to the way of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. We are connected to that one who stood up to the dictators, to the presidents, to prime ministers, to the Ahli Zalim, who spoke haqq no matter what. We are connected to that Sultan al-Awliya. Is saying about him, he has a power on him. Sultan al-Awliya is saying about him, he has a power on him. He has the power of a dragon on him. He stood out against the world of kufr. Only one man. He stood out against the world of kufr. He stood out against the unbelievers of Turkey, made them upside down. And U.S.A. also, another center of kufr. He also taught them their lesson and limits. He came here like a lion, and he returned to his mission here. He is an astonishing man. His tajalli, manifestation, appears to be like this now. That is, that he has passed, that he is dead, but he will come. When the Sahibul Waqt appears, he will come. O murids, that is the connection that we have made when we have given bayat. We are connected to these real men, these Rijalullah, who have given their lives in the service of this religion. We are connected to those ones who are not only connected to the history of Islam, they are writing the history of Islam. So what are we going to do with this honor? Are we going to take it seriously? Are we going to be in ghaflat and let waste the blessings that have been given to us? We are not worthy to even take the name of these friends of Allah. We are not worthy to even mention their names, definitely. As the murid of Mawlana Rumi is saying, I have washed my mouth with rose water and musk 1,000 times, but still my tongue is unworthy to utter your name. But their example is in front of us. Are we going to live like they lived? Are we going to use our blood, our breath, our energy, our wealth, our strength to do hizmat in the way of Allah and His Prophet? Or are we only going to claim to be connected to them, but not live like them, not breathe like them, not be like them? Each busy with our own little lives, busy with our own orbits. The choice is up to us. The breath of life is given to us now. But in the Akhirat, we will have to answer for how we lived. And as murids, we have to answer. We are responsible for more. And if we want our Shaykh to be pleased with us, if we want a good report to be given, then we know what we have to do. We have to run non-stop to make hizmat. That is the foundation of this way. As our Shaykh is saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to us, I have created you in ahsani taqwim for my service. And the priority in your book must be Allah's service. If you are not doing Allah's service, then what are you good for in this world? Why are you living in this world? Find another world. This world belongs to Allah. He creates everything. He creates you and He creates your sustenance. He creates everything you are in need of. For what are you waiting? To make sajda? To whom are you going to make sajda? Shaitan? Yes, must be. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is promising us, saying to us, if you are not keeping my orders correctly, then I will take revenge from you. So we must be careful. It is not a man who is giving us that warning. It is the Lord of the heavens and the earth. You believe it or not, it doesn't matter. It's not changing that reality. Abu Zar radiallahu anh is saying, we were sitting, a group of Sahabi, and the Prophet ﷺ came and said to us, which action do you think Allah loves the most? Some of us said, prayers. He said, no. We said, to make jihad in the way of Allah. He said, no. What Allah loves most is to love the one that Allah loves and leave the one that Allah leaves. Ya Rabbi, count us as those who love the ones that you love. Count us as those that love Sahibul Sayf, Shaykh Abdul Qadir Rabbani, and let us be from those ones that are making service in your way. Make us to be counted as those ones who are going to wake up our sleeping legend. Amin. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah lazim alazi la ilaha illa wal hayyul qayyum wa atubu ilayhi. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wal hamdu wa ala kulli shay'in qadir. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wal hamdu wa ala kulli shay'in qadir. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wal hamdu wa ala kulli shay'in qadir. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka kuntu minaz zalimin. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka kuntu minaz zalimin. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka kuntu minaz zalimin. Subbuhun Kudusun Rabbana Rabbal Malaikata Warruh. Subuhun kudusun Rabbuna Rabbil Malaikati ve Ruh. Subuhun kudusun Rabbuna Rabbil Malaikati ve Ruh. İnna dina indallahil İslam. Kam salat.
Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah, eşhedü en la ilahe illallah, eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah, eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Hayyâle selâ, hayyâle selâ, hayyâle felâ, hayyâle felâ. Ve digâme selât, ve digâme selâ. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber, la ilahe illallah.